You should obtain advice from your doctor or medical professional before participating in any activities offered by Chronically Awesome. Never rely on our content in place of seeking professional medical advice. By using this video, you agree that you are voluntarily using or acting upon our content. You also agree that, save where Chronically Awesome is at fault, your use of or acting upon the content is at your own risk, including, but not limited to, all risk to yourself of harm, injury or illness, and in particular any harm, injury or illness resulting from overexertion or exacerbation of any medical conditions caused by the use of the content. Always remember that, if you experience pain while using or acting upon our content, stop and consult your doctor or medical professional. Always warm up before a class and warm down after. You do not need to complete an entire class. You can always start with a short section and build up to completing a full class over time. Pace yourself and listen to your body. Most of all, have fun. Exercise should be empowering and make you feel good. If it's not fun, try a different style of class until you find something you enjoy.
So coming carefully down onto the mat and using a small head cushion or folded towel, just to get that correct neck alignment if you need one today. And we're going to be using a soft Pilates ball. If you don't have one of these, you can use a folded towel instead. But we're going to place it between our knees. So this is really good for getting an understanding of our alignment as well. So we're not pushing on the ball, we're just sort of having a gentle connection between the knees, letting those thigh bones sit comfortably into the hip sockets. And let's just rest our arms down by the ground and just take a moment to relax into the mat. So we want the feet to be parallel and about hip width apart, very gentle connection onto that soft ball. Feeling the chest nice and open and wide, feeling the spine lengthen, the neck is long, the shoulders drawing away from the ears. And just take a few breaths here. Breathing in through the nose, and just releasing everything out the mouth. Breathing in through the nose. And as you exhale, just releasing all that carbon dioxide, almost to the point where you can feel those abdominals just want to nip together. Good. Bringing ourselves back, and we're just going to make a little diamond shape with our hands, place it on our lower abdomen, and just start to feel that connection in the core a little bit, and we're going to do a few little pelvic tucks. So just taking a little breath in as we exhale, lowering that lumbar spine, that lower part of the spine into the mat. And then just releasing it away, just starting to tuck under a little bit more, feeling that extension. Good. Just breathing, finding a nice natural breath. Again, not over squeezing the ball. Very gentle connection for now. Good. So once we've done a few little pelvic tucks, we're going to just settle ourselves back in the middle, and then we're actually going to start to add a few little circles. So we're going over to the left hip, start to reach that spine away, come down over the right. So just getting a very gentle little rotation. You don't have to have the hands on the lower abdomen, you can actually have them down by the side, and then we're just going to reverse it. And then let's just settle ourselves back in the middle. Hopefully we can really feel that tailbone nice and grounded into the mat, the backs of our ribs and the back of our head. So we're just going to come into our spine curls now. So we've got the connection on the ball. So we're going to keep our legs in a nice alignment by using the ball, gives us a little bit of feedback. So let's take a breath in as we exhale. We're going to just tilt that pelvis and start to push through the feet as we open those hips, drawing them up as the ribs start to soften down. So we've come to about the tips of our shoulder blades. Let's take a breath in here, then exhaling with control, bone by bone by bone. So we're still keeping that tailbone relatively tucked towards the ceiling before it can't go any further and we come back to our neutral position. Let's do that 2 more times. So breath in, breath out. So opening those hips, feeling length coming away from those knees. relaxing the ribs down. Breath in and exhaling with control, bone by bone by bone. So we feel that nice flattening of the lower back, and then we come back into our neutral. One more. Breath in, breath out. Nice even weight through the feet, really pressing down that big toe. Opening the hips. Lengthening the knees away. Little breath, exhaling, coming back down. Bone by bone by bone. And then all the way back down where we can just relax for a moment. Let's bring our arms over chest. Palms facing our knees. We've got a nice alignment from the wrist to the elbow to the shoulder. We're just going to do a few little rib cage closures. So keeping that tailbone grounded. Becoming aware of those deep abdominals. We're going to take a breath in, and as we exhale, we're going to draw those arms back. Engage that center. Keep a connection on the ball. And watch those ribs want to flare. So we could have the arms just in front of our head, or we frame them, but we don't want to just let everything collapse. So really using that core stability to facilitate the movement. Bring those arms up and then all the way back down. Two more like this. Breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. Last one like this. Breathing in. Exhaling, breathing in and exhaling. Good. So we're going to come straight into a movement called chicken wings now. So you may just want to have a quick little look here. But we're going to come like what we've just done. So we're bringing those arms overhead. We're going to hold them, hover them just above the floor. And then we're going to bend the elbows. So imagining you're holding an invisible tray just in front of you. So we're bending the elbows, we're drawing them towards the side of the body. And then we're reaching back up overhead. So we're bending those elbows again, really engaging those deep core muscles, keeping that tailbone grounded, keeping those ribs heavy. Reaching back. One more. Breathing in. Exhaling. And then we can reach those arms up over chest and down by the side of the body. Good. We're going to do that 2 more times. So let's take a breath in, arms over chest. Exhaling, drawing them so they frame the head, hovering above the floor. Let's take a breath in as we bend those elbows, widening them and then drawing them to the sides, keeping the forearms parallel to the floor. And then we're reaching back overhead. Breathing in, bending those elbows again. Exhaling. One more, we're going to bend those elbows, take a breath in, and then reaching back over, where we can bring them back over chest, and all the way back down. Good, just take a quick little moment, we're going to do that 1 more time. Breath in, reaching those arms up, exhaling, drawing them back, engaging those deep abdominals, keeping those ribs heavy, spine in neutral. Breathing in as we bend those elbows towards the side of the body, exhaling, reach. Inhaling, bending those elbows. Exhaling, reach. Last one, breathing in. Exhaling. And then we can reach those arms back over chest and all the way back down towards the side of the body. Good, we can just give those shoulders a little bit of a shake, and we're going to come straight into our curl-ups now. So if you've got a head cushion or small towel, just placing that out of the way, replacing it with the back of your hands, keeping your elbows in your peripheral vision. Just taking a moment to feel that tailbone grounded, that neutral spine, soft rib cage. Let's take a breath in and exhale as we start to curl up, looking towards our ball, breathing in here, and then exhaling lower. So keeping the elbows in our peripheral vision, don't let them collapse back. 2 more like this, and then we're going to add a squeeze of the ball. So exhaling, breathing in, exhaling. Last one, breathing in, exhaling. Engaging that center, keeping that tailbone nice and grounded. Breathing in, exhaling. Good. We're going to do 3 more, and this time we're going to add a squeeze for 3. So tucking that chin, curling up. As you breathe in, you're going to squeeze on the ball 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Lower. Remembering to keep about a fist width between the chin and the chest. Exhaling. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, and lowering. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in for 3, 1, 2, 3. And then releasing back down. Good. And then you can place your head cushion back behind your head. We're going to carefully remove that ball from out of our knees and just place it down by the side of us just for one little moment. We're going to come into some toe taps. So this is a really good for our core stability, particularly. Really gives you an understanding of our centering. So let's just start by coming into a single knee fold. So we're going to lift that right heel and come into that single knee fold. So feeling the thigh bone just sit very comfortably into your hips. We've still got the natural curves of our spine. And then lowering it back down with control, feel toe by that heel. Other side. So let's lift that left heel, come into our single knee fold. Maintain this position and then carefully lowering it back down with control. We're going to come into our double knee fold and we're going to hold this position. So let's take a breath in, single knee fold, into a double. So again, already we're having to engage that center just a little bit, making sure that the knees aren't too far in or too far out. We're actually going to take our hands and just place them on the fronts of our thighs. And I just want you to imagine you're trying to push your legs away as well as pull your thighs in. And as you do this, we might just start to feel a little connection going on in the core. So breathe in, push, release. Breathe in, push, and release. Breathe in, and release. So that's just sort of like waking up, getting a little bit of feedback there. We're then going to have the arms now by the side. We're going to come into something called toe taps. So starting with our right leg, let's take a breath in as you lower the leg away. So think thigh bone moving in hip. We'll tap that toe down and exhale as we draw it back in. So it's slow, controlled, flowing movements. Other side, breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in, let's alternate. Exhaling. So we're trying to maintain the angle of the knee. And again, we're not just dropping the knee, we're really thinking the thigh bone is lengthening away whilst maintaining that angle. It might only be a smaller movement, so don't feel you have to touch the floor with your toes. You can make it much smaller, but it's all about understanding this core connection. So as we breathe in, as that leg lengthens away, we're engaging that centering, drawing it back up. We're going to do one more set, so one more to each side. Breathing in, lengthen. Last one, making sure that you're even on both sides. Good. And then we can just pull those knees in towards the bodies. Just give yourself a little bit of release. Just rocking from side to side. Let's just open those knees up gradually. Just a few one way. And then a few the other. And then we can just place those feet back down to the mat. So carefully from our relaxation position, we're just going to gently roll over to one side and we're going to come onto our tummy. So just being really, really careful here. As long as this feels okay and you're happy to come onto your tummy area, we're going to do some spinal extension now. So you may still want a little head cushion or a small towel to rest your forehead on. You may not at all. But we're going to bring the legs to continue being parallel and hip width apart. So just allowing the feet to be resting on the top. And even though we're lying on our tummy, we're thinking about really pushing down that pubic bone into the mat and scooping the belly a little bit. we're going to have our arms out in front of us, and we're going to be making a little diamond shape with our hands where we're going to place our forehead in the centre of. Now, if this is too much, you can have the option of the head cushion to rest as well your forehead on. But we want the shoulders to be relaxed and away from the ears, and feeling that scapula coating the backs of the rib cage very comfortably. And we're thinking that pubic bone is quite grounded, and we've got a tiny little engagement in the tummy, so a little scoop like you're trying to push that belly button into the back of your spine. So we're going to come up into some extension. So taking a breath in to prepare the body. As you exhale, I want you to imagine, as you lift your head slightly, I want you to imagine you're rolling an imaginary marble away with your nose. So we just start to gently bring our gaze slightly forward. And then we're going to be lifting from that breastbone. So we're engaging the core. We're not pushing ourselves up with our arms. We're shining our breastbone forward. We're keeping our neck long. We're just holding here for a breath in. And then as you exhale, gently coming back down. And then bringing that forehead back to the mat. So we'll go again. So we're breathing in to prepare. We're exhaling. We're rolling that imaginary marble first. Keeping the neck long. And shining that breastbone forward. So start to come up. So we're really working these little back muscles now. So the core is engaged. We don't want to be feeling the stretch into the lower back. If you are, you want to be engaging those abdominals a little bit more, and maybe just lowering your extension a bit. Breath in here, exhaling. We're going to go for a few more. So we exhale. Keeping those lower ribs connected into the mat. Holding for a breath. Exhaling, coming all the way back down again. So again, you don't need that cushion there. We can be doing it. You'll definitely get a little bit more range of movement with the mat, but it's all down to preference and how your body's feeling today. Let's do two more. So we're exhaling, we're rolling that imaginary marble away, and then we're lifting, we're shining that breastbone forward. We're not pushing ourselves up, the arms are just there for a bit of stability. Exhaling, coming back down. Last one. So it's really important to do a little bit of extension every now and then, especially as we spend most of our days sort of huddled over a laptop or a phone. So it's really, really good for our spines just to get that tiny bit of extension, especially in the thoracic spine. So let's just take a moment here once you've done a few. You're going to bring your toes together. You're going to lower your hands towards your shoulder, and very carefully you're just going to push yourselves into your rest position. So just drawing that pelvis back, arms come forward, and you're just going to take a few breaths here. You're going to breathe. Two more breaths. The arms can come down by the side if it's a little bit more comfortable for you. Good, and then very, very carefully, we're just going to start to tuck ourselves back up. So just be really careful just to avoid any sort of head rush, but we're going to re-stack that spine. And then the head is going to come last. Good, so we're going to come into our 4-point kneeling position now. So again, being mindful if you have sore wrists. There are options that you can fold your mat over a little bit just to give yourself a little bit more wrist stability. That sometimes does help. Or you just don't need to do this section at all. But we want our knees to be underneath our hips, and we want our wrists to be underneath our shoulders, and we want the creases of our elbows to be facing towards each other, so we're avoiding locking them out. And the scapula wants to be comfortably coating the backs of the ribs. So we're not dropping, we're not collapsing, we're pushing, You should feel quite comfortable. Your chin is parallel to the floor, so the head is the highest point. Tiny connection in those deep abdominals. So we're just going to hold here for a moment, and we're just going to do this rocking motion backwards and forwards. We're just starting to strengthen the wrists a little bit. This is really good for our wrist strength. So just breathing, just allowing yourself to come forward, feeling that tummy engaged and hinging back as well. So we're trying to keep our spine in a nice neutral position. Good. And then we can just settle ourselves back into the middle. So again, you've got that option there with your mat. So we're going to come into a movement called Tabletop 1. So we're really challenging our stability and to try and keep ourselves in a real nice neutral. So let's take a breath in. As we exhale, I want you to just start to slide that left leg away from you, keeping it in line with your hip joint. We've still got a nice tripod weight, so even weight in the hands and in the opposite knee. And then as you breathe in, can you lift it, lengthening that leg away, no higher than hip. We don't want to sort of be dipping away. We're trying to keep our pelvis as stable as possible. Lower it back down with control and slide it back to the start. Other side. Breath in to prepare. Exhaling, sliding that leg away. Inhale, lift, lengthen it like someone's trying to pull your leg away, but we don't want any movement in that pelvis. Lowering it back down, drawing it back in. Good. We're going to do a few more to each side. Breathing in. Exhaling that leg away. Inhaling. And then lowering back down, drawing it back in. Other side. So as we lengthen, we've got that nice alignment. We're lifting, we're engaging that center, we're still pushing through the floor, we're not letting our shoulders collapse. Lower it back down, coming back in. Let's just do one more to each side, and at any point you need to come off your wrists, please do. We start to feel fatigue a bit in the shoulders quite quickly. Lift and lower, sliding that leg back in, and then just carefully coming off onto your forearms, where we're just going to roll those wrists a few times, and then going the other way as well. Good. Now, presuming that you're still happy to stay in our 4-point kneeling, we're going to come back. And we're going to do an exercise called threading the needle. It's a little bit like a one-arm push-up, but very good for our spine in rotation. You can actually use your ball here for a little bit of feedback as well. So the ball is optional. I'll show you without the ball first. So we're going to take our right hand and place it behind our left, palm facing upwards. And then you're going to be threading that arm through. Start really slowly, but following the gaze with your head. So we start to rotate the head, the neck, the breastbone, that upper spine, as we thread that arm through, and then our ear wants to come towards the mat. And then we start to bring ourselves back up to the starting position. So we're bending that opposite elbow like a one-arm push-up as we slide our arm through, getting that lovely rotation. Breathing in and pushing up. Now, if you're wanting a bit of feedback, we can do this with the ball. So you can place the ball there and just sort of get a little bit of help with the ball helping you slide it forward, especially if you don't want to go quite as low. So the ball is there. So we're looking for spinal rotation. Making sure you're bending that opposite elbow. And coming back. We're just going to do one more to each side because it is quite tough. But I want you to think head, neck, chest, rotation. And coming back. Unraveling yourself. So one more to this side. Watch those elbows haven't locked. Engaging back to the start, And then just coming off those wrists again into your rest position. Just having a nice stretch here. Good. Then we're just going to carefully open that left hand. The spine will follow, and we're going to place our right hand on top. So we're just coming into this little side stretch. Just taking a breath here. And then releasing, coming to center first, and then going over to the other side. So placing that left hand now on top of your right. And just enjoying that stretch. Breathing in, exhaling. And then coming back to center, where we're just going to very carefully roll ourselves back up, bone by bone by bone. Head coming up last. So we're just going to do just one more starting position, but this time we're going to be in our side line. And we're just going to work the hips a little bit. So we can bring our ball with us if we have one today. So to start off with, I want you to be sitting in a chair position. So the legs are nicely parallel. You can use your mat as a bit of a base. You're going to be lengthening that underneath arm. So it's in line with your spine. The palm is facing the ceiling, and we've got a head cushion or a towel between our ear and our shoulder. This just helps us get that nice neck alignment. And just placing your hand on your hip, always feel like you're drawing that hip away. So if you can see, I'm not just collapsed in the center. I have a little lift, so I'm already engaging my core, and so my spine is in a nice neutral alignment. And we want knee on top of knee, hip on top of hip, shoulder on top of shoulder. So make sure we're not collapsing forward. The shoulder is sitting nicely stacked. And the same, just looking at that top knee. If you find that your top knee is sliding away from you, we're not right, we're out of alignment in our hip. So placing the knees nicely on top of each other gives us a good understanding of that nice neutral sideline alignment. So you can use the other hand as a little bit of support just in front of you. And we're going to take our top leg and we're just going to reach it away from us. So it's in line with our hip, no higher. So this is probably can be enough of an exercise for you just to sort of hold it here. But we are going to do some lift and lowers. So lengthening that leg, softly pointed toe. We're going to take a breath in as we lift that leg and carefully lowering it back down and just gently touching the floor. So breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. So just being really mindful that your hips don't come too far forward. We want them to keep really in line with our hip joint. So there'll be a natural cutoff. And again, if you've got quite a large range of movement, just really be controlled. Don't lock the knee back. Good. Let's do another 3. So breathing in, lengthening that leg. 2 and 1. Good, just rest that leg down, and then we'll just carefully place it on top of the other knee. And we're going to go into a new movement. We're going to go into our circles now. So just making sure that alignment is still happy. We haven't collapsed. We're going to extend that leg out, and we're going to come into some circles. So let's just take a breath in as we start to lift that leg, draw it forward, down, back, so we get that hip extension, and back up. So that's one full circle, about the size of a steering wheel. So 2, really feeling length and energy. 3, 4, 5, one more this direction, and then let's reverse it. So we're bringing it up, back. Back is important. We want that hip extension, down and forward. Good. So that's 2 3, 4, 5, let's just do one more, and 6, good. Let's just rest that leg down, just give the hip a little pat. We're now going to do something. If you've got your ball, if you've got a little towel, we're going to do some abductor lifts now. So we're going to place that ball there, and you're going to place your top knee on top of the ball. Just let it relax and lengthen the underneath one. So making sure you're happy with that position. We're then going to lift and lower that underneath leg. So let's breathe in and exhale. Breathe in. So it's a small movement. We really want that thigh bone to be lifting. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one more, 8, and relax. Good. So we can just bring ourselves back, place that ball over there for a moment, and very, very carefully, any way that you want to, we're going to swing ourselves around and come on to the other side. So again, just being really careful. No sudden movements. Just take your time, take your time. Ball to hand if you need one. And then we're going to lengthen that arm. We've got either our small head cushion or a towel in line or underneath our ear and between our shoulders. And let's just take a quick moment to scan our body. So we've got knee on top of knee, we've got hip on top of hip, we've got ankle on top of ankle. We're not collapsed in the waist, we're lifted. The shoulder hasn't rolled forward. We're using the hand just as a little bit of support and stability. Let's take that top leg and lengthen it away so it's in line with our hip, so it's not too far forward. Let's take a breath in as we lift that leg up towards the ceiling and exhale lower. Breathing in and exhale lower. Breathing in. Good, another 4. Just really start to feel that back of the glute working a little bit. Good. Last one. And then just letting that leg rest briefly. And then we're going to go straight into circles. So let's extend that leg again, making sure we haven't locked the knee, very important, soft knee, especially if you're very flexible. We're going to come into circles. So let's bring that leg forward, up, back and around. So we're going to do 6 this way, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Let's reverse it. Again, really making sure that you're getting that lovely hip extension, so really bringing that leg back without disturbing anything else. Last one. And then you can just relax that leg back down. Give yourself a little pat if you need to. And then we have our soft ball. We're going to place that top knee on the ball. Just let it relax. Let the foot come down, and we're going to lengthen that underneath leg between us. So we're still a little lifted in the waist. We haven't collapsed the shoulders forward. Let's come into our lift and lowers underneath. So let's lift. We want that thigh bone to be lifting away, lowering. Breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in, exhale. Let's just do 3 more. 2. Last one, relaxing those legs down, just placing that ball out the way. Just giving yourself a quick little moment, and then we're just going to roll ourselves onto our backs again, very, very slowly. Just take a moment, take your time. Head cushion behind the back of the head if you need one. We're just going to have those knees bent. Let's just have the arms completely down by the side. We're just going to open the feet out slightly wider than hips. Feeling the chest nice and open, that grounded tailbone. We're just going to come into some nice knee rolls. So let's take a breath in. And as we exhale, let's take both knees over to the right hand side. So we're going, one's going over the midline. You're feeling that opposite hip start to lift. We're still using our core to help facilitate that movement. Hold it here and then drawing the knees back. So again, just being really mindful that our shoulders are staying nicely grounded to the mat. Engaging that tummy just so we're not letting everything collapse to the side. Breathing in, exhaling. Nice controlled movements. Just letting the feet roll onto the outer border. Letting everything else be heavy and soft. Let's just do one more to each side. Good. Bringing your feet back to center. And then you can just walk the feet in and just give yourself one quick little hug, drawing those knees in towards the body, breathing in. And exhaling, release. Breathing in. Exhaling, release. Just one more, breathing in. And releasing, placing the feet back down one at a time. And just taking a little moment here for yourself. You can lengthen both legs away. Just letting everything soften and relax. And this is where I will leave you today. Thank you very much for joining this video with me. I hope to see you soon.